All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today. We have freshmen, Charlize Palacios and Janelle Mionio here. I believe everybody should have recording rights. If you don't, let me know and I can assign those. But we will open it up for questions for Char and Janelle. Ryan Kellep here, you are first.
So, Charlize, where would you say the confidence is in this offense right now? I mean, you guys obviously had a huge showing at the Tucson Regional.
I think we're doing really well right now. I think our confidence has shot up through this weekend. Ole Miss was a really good team, and we were able to put a lot of runs on the board and just string along a lot of hits and pass the bat. So I think we're doing really well, and we just got to keep it rolling to this weekend.
And what do you think the key will be to keeping it going on the road this time? And you'll be in front of a packed crowd, but this time they'll be rooting against you.
Yeah, I think we did a really good job of feeding off of each other's energy. I mean, of course, when Nelly gets on, that sparks us, and then just keeping it going and passing the bat, like I said before, just having the inning stretch out as long as we can.
Alec?
Yeah, this is for both of you guys. When you decided to come to Arizona and play, softball here, is playing in the postseason, the NCAA tournament, something that you dreamed about and envisioned happening so early in your career?
You can start.
Yeah, I think growing up, we've definitely always watched postseason softball, and it's such a dream come true. I was just talking to one of my friends yesterday that we want to get to the Women's College World Series so bad. That's an actual dream that I think everyone on this team, and us too especially, want to accomplish and get to.
And then Charlie, it's just what about you?
Yeah, I mean, from our travel experience in travel ball, we've always watched postseason. We've grown up with girls and played with them and watched them in postseason. And my sister played at ASU, and I watched her in postseason. And just, it's a lot of excitement that goes around in the clubhouse, and just having everything like it's a different feel from conference play. So it's just really cool to experience.
And then your postseason play has been really good this far, especially at the plate. Where does your confidence come from as a freshman to be able to handle that?
Me or Janelle?
You.
Oh, okay. I try to put behind what had happened in conference, whether it was good or bad, and I just try to focus on this weekend. And I really was just trying to keep the ball rolling and keep it going for the team. And I got a few clutch hits this tournament, and I just want to keep it going next weekend.
Troy Hutchison?
So Janelle, going off of that, why do you think that not only Charlize and yourself, but Carly as well, you guys are freshmen, why is it that you're able to succeed in those moments?
I think that we're able to be so successful in those moments is because we prepare so hard, and when it comes game time, we're just ready. We're just playing our game, having fun. It's really nothing too big that we can't handle, I believe.
And Charlize, looking at Arkansas, they're a team that hits a lot of home runs, but I wanted to know what do their pitchers bring to the table? What have you seen? I don't know if you guys have gotten to look at the tape yet, but what do they do well?
Sorry, it was breaking up a little, but what I got from that, I think as long as we play our game when we go over there, we don't try to match a different team. I think if we play our game like we did this weekend, I think we're unbeatable. So we just have to play our game and focus on our goals and just play as the U of A would,
Paul Boyd?
Hi guys, I work for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. I cover Arkansas's team, so I wanted to get your standpoint from what are your feelings coming into this super regional on the road? I saw you guys had pretty good attendance at your regional as well. Do you feel like that would be a factor, and just your thoughts coming into a super regional?
I think we're coming into Arkansas. We're really excited. We're getting to play an SEC team, and we know that they're going to have the crowd on their side, but we trust in one another, and we always choose us. And when we have that energy, we can really start something and get going on the field.
Yeah, and I second that. I think when we choose ourselves, and I think we have a lot to prove on this travel journey that we have and this adventure, because I feel like we haven't proven ourselves yet on the road, and I think this is the perfect time. We came off of a really fun weekend. We all enjoyed the game and enjoyed each other, so I think this was going to be a really big step for this team this weekend.
Thank you.
Ryan?
Charli, is kind of along those lines. What was it like to play in front of a packed house? I know you guys did a little bit last year, but not in an environment like that.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of the USA game when we played USA here, our like COVID freshman year. It was just unreal feelings. I mean, I got goosebumps when they started cheering after we took ground balls. It was unreal. I had my dad and my sister here in the stands too, so it was really fun having them here. And just, I was able to pinpoint them throughout the crowd, but it's a different feeling when you're in Rita. Our fans are amazing and they've stuck through, like, with us through everything. And I'm happy that they were able to see us come out on top this weekend.
And how do you kind of, we were talking to some of the players from the other teams at the regional, and they were kind of saying, obviously, that the crowd was big and they were trying to use that and pretend that, you know, they were cheering for them. I mean, is that kind of a strategy that you want to use going into Arkansas?
Yeah, so truthfully, when you're focused and up to bat, you can't really hear anything. But I think if we use that as fire for us to do better, I think we'll be able to use the fans as a tool for us as well. So I think that's a really good strategy to do too when you're visiting, you're the opponent that's coming to a different place.
And then just my last question. Obviously, there's a lot of hype about the senior class this year, and you kind of just talked about you have a lot of things to prove. What do you feel like your freshman class has proved this season about the future of the program?
You can start.
I think that so far we've proved that we can play and we can keep up with top programs. This weekend, Char, Scoop, they really came in clutch, had some timely hits and clutch hits at bats. But I just think that moving forward, as of right now, we're still playing with the seniors, so I'm still excited for that. But moving forward in the future, I still think that we're still going to be a top program to be able to play and compete with other teams.
Alec White?
Yeah, and Charlize, I just want to go back to last year when you had that collision at home plate that kept you out for the end of that season. What do you just remember about that?
Honestly, not much, but I do remember waking up in an ambulance, which was kind of scary, and I wasn't with my family. They didn't get to travel to Alabama with me, but I do know that I take that collision very seriously, and it makes me want to come back on the field and take every game as if it's my last one, because you never know when it could be. Something traumatic can happen. So I think that's helped me really be grateful for this sport and be grateful for every game that I have with these girls.
And building off that point, do you think that this season, staying healthy, you just have a much bigger appreciation for those games you do get to play in?
Yeah, I'm really happy that I was healthy, and knock on wood, hopefully continue to be healthy. Everyone does. But injuries are very scary, and even some of the players that got hurt this year, it was really sad when they weren't able to play. But I'm happy that we're all healthy now, and we're looking like a really good team right now. So our main goal is just to get there all healthy and enjoy the moment when we are able to get to where we will want to be.
Thanks.
All right, Char and Janelle, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
All right, we are joined by head coach Mike Candrea, and we will open up for questions. The first one with their hand raised is Paul Boyd. Go ahead.
Hi, Coach. I'm Paul. I work for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Good afternoon. Can you, number one, tell me just your thoughts on facing Arkansas and what they bring at you, number one, and number two, how you feel like your team is playing its best softball of the year right now?
Yeah, well, I know a little bit about Arkansas. I've seen them on the SEC network quite frequently, and know they've had a heck of a year. Team with good pitching, some power, have played well enough to win the SEC this year, the regular season. So obviously my job right now is to make sure that Arizona is ready to go. And right now I feel good about our team. I think that little comeback this weekend hopefully will feed some confidence, and we can ride the wave a little bit. But postseason's an interesting time. You know, it's I don't think it's ever changed where you have to get good pitching, you have to play good defense, you have to get timely hitting. And so for us, that's kind of our venture this entire year, you know. And so I don't think things are going to change for us. We are right now taking a look at some stuff and formulating a little bit of a game plan for their pitching. But as far as Arizona's concerned right now, we're going to do what we do. And I think the big thing for us is to be aggressive. And I think offensively to make sure that our eyes are in the right place, that we're not chasing a lot of pitches out of the zone. And so plate discipline is going to be important. And then play our game, you know. And I think our team's been built around good defense the majority of the year, and we're going to have to pitch. And, you know, that's going to be always the challenge at this time of the year. So we kind of know what's ahead of us. And being on a road, we have not been really great on the road. So hopefully this will be the turning point for the year for us to go on a road and play well.
The other thing I'll ask one other thing. You say you hadn't been as good on the road. What has there been something specific that you haven't done as well that has led to that?
Not really. Just the consistency. I guess, you know, playing at Hillenbrand and playing at home, just like any team today. You know, I think 20 years ago, home field advantage was really not even in the discussion. But in today's game, with the crowds that are being drawn by softball and the growth of the game, being at home is definitely an advantage. And I think it's more of a confidence, a comfort level. Anytime you can sleep in your own bed, I think it helps. But for us, yeah, just trying to figure it out. I knew going in this year that it was going to be an important part of the puzzle. And so we did schedule, I think, pretty intensely on the road early in the year. Unfortunately, we got frozen out in Texas and didn't get a chance to play Alabama or Texas on that trip. And then we went on a 10-day road trip to Florida that I think thought that would help us. But truthfully, right now, we need to execute the game no matter where we're at. And we're going to have to supply our own energy. We know that. And I think this team pretty much understands that at this stage of the game, there's no tomorrow. So you're playing for your life to continue to play the game. And if that's not something that motivates you, then I don't know what to say.
Thanks, Coach.
Ryan?
Kind of along those lines. I mean, how do you think playing in a packed house this past weekend can help you on the road, even though the fans were on your side and this time they'll be on the other side?
Yeah, I think it was unique. You know, normally we're quite used to it, but I must say this year has been a challenge because of the empty stadiums and very few fans. And this weekend to get a taste of what it's really like to pack the place and have that fan support, I think is going to be beneficial for our young kids, especially to know what it's like. And I know a little bit about the Arkansas atmosphere, and their fans love their team, and they're going to come out and support them. And there'll be people out on the berm. There'll be people all over the place. And the fortunate part is none of those people are playing the game. So it's still played between the lines. And, you know, it's going to be up to us to have quality at bats and play the game that we need to play.
And you mentioned some of the young kids. What do you think people like Charlize and Janelle and Carly have proved in this postseason?
Well, I think any player that goes through a season, there tends to be growth in the mental game, the maturity. And I think a lot of times when you're young, the game gets quick on you. You don't know really how to slow it down, and you try to do too much. But I think at this stage right now, those kids have kind of figured it out and know where they need to be to play their best softball. And I think that's a growth in softball maturity, is being able to take care of the moment and have the confidence that you have the tools to be able to slow the game down and do what you need to do to perform.
Troy?
The offense obviously found its stride this weekend, but it was kind of a mixed review for the pitching staff. Where are they going into this Arkansas series, and how do you feel about their chances?
Well, I've always liked our offense, you know, and offense is not going to be, you're not going to have, I mean, we've had a few good innings like that where we put a lot of runs on the board, and one was against BYU in the first inning of a game where I think we must have put 13 runs up. And then this past weekend, I think it was just a great response from our team. But I like the fact that after being down 6 runs, they didn't hit the panic button. They stayed within their game plan. They continued to try to pass the bat, try to get 60 feet, try to put runners on base. And when you do that and you get some key hits, good things happen. And so I like where we're at right now. You know, I think confidence-wise, I think we're confident offensively. We played good defense all year, and you know, I like the strides that our pitching staff has made, and so this is what we live for. You know, this is what we do.
And then the program hasn't won a road super regional since 2009. What makes this team special where they could do that?
Well, thanks for reminding me about that. That's, at least you've done your homework. But I don't really worry about the past, to be honest with you. You know, that's for you guys to worry about, not for me to worry about. Right now, I'm worried about this team right now in 2021. And that's how I've always been, you know. There's nothing you can do about the past. There's nothing you can do about the future. All you can worry about is today, and I hope we have a hell of a practice today.
Kim?
Coach, about the defense, you guys have been good there all year. There are a few miscues this weekend. Are there any concerns there for you?
No, that happens. No, as long as you play this game and you have enough opportunities, that's going to happen. I think it's a game of averages, and if you look at the average of our defense, it's been a really good defense. And it's just like hitting. You're not going to get 18, 19 hits every time you play a game. So I think if you look at our team right now and you look at the averages, I think we've been a good defensive team, and I firmly believe that that we're very capable of putting zeros in the error column, you know. But like, I can't predict it, you know. And if it happens, it happens. You just move forward.
Alec White?
There's some Hall of Famers in the MLB that have made quite a few errors, and you know, didn't hit 400. That's for sure.
Coach Ryan just asked about the freshmen, and I was wondering about when you recruit these freshmen, and when they're in high school, is part of your recruiting pitch selling them on having these postseason opportunities to make plays like Charli's have been and Janelle have been doing this year?
Oh, I think any program that has a tradition that we have, one of the key factors is when kids decide to come here, they feel like they're going to get a chance to play in postseason. And we've been fairly successful, I would say, in 32 appearances in postseason. It's nothing to take for granted, but as you get into postseason and you have more success, the bar's raised. And I think when you come to Arizona, and my expectations are to compete for a national championship. And I think that's part of the recruiting process, and the kids that we bring in obviously feel like that's pretty important to them too. So.
And then focusing on Charlize, she broke out offensively after having a little bit of a rough end to the season against Oregon, UCLA. What do you think she did in between those series and then the regional series that allowed her to be successful at the plate?
Well, probably simplified things, quit thinking so damn much, control her eyes, make sure she's swinging at good pitches. I mean, it's a pretty easy solution, but it's really tough to do, we always say, look for a good pitch and put a good swing on it and good things are going to happen. But I promise you, if you played this game, it's not quite that easy. Sometimes you can get a good pitch and put a good swing on it and get no results. And then it becomes a mind game. And so I think for a lot of these kids right now, when they struggle, a lot of times they're trying too hard and probably not controlling the things they have control over. And so the key for us is to be on time and to make sure our eyes are where we want to see a pitch and hit it. And if we can do that, if we're on time and we're swinging at good pitches, then the odds are and the averages are that we're going to be a pretty good hitting team. If we're chasing a lot of pitches out of the zone, you're going to have issues. That's pretty much what history will repeat in our game and in baseball.
Jason Barr.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You certainly seem like you've got a lot left in your tank, but you got pretty emotional after the regional, and that's after being there 32 times, and based on something somebody wrote in a column beginning of the season, you kind of think,
who was that?
Greg's column. He said,
I don't.
It was written.
The good part is I don't read the paper anymore, so.
Well, I'll go out and just ask this direct. Do you plan on coming back next year, and was that why you may have been emotional, or was it just because of COVID and everything that's happened?
No, I was just emotional because of a lot of things. I mean, sitting around and waiting to play this season is not a lot of fun when you're used to that and you're built to prepare. I'm very process oriented and I love practice, and when you don't get to do that for a year, then yeah, it does get emotional when you get a chance to finally play a season. And that was just kind of the culmination of a lot of things, that senior class waiting to finally play their final season. And then anytime you can win a regional in front of your fans, I don't take those for granted, those moments. And I think I've gotten better at maybe celebrating the small moments versus when I was a young kid. When I started coaching here, I was a young kid. I used to think that my life revolved around me winning a national championship, and if I didn't do it, I was a failure. And when you're coaching and you're going through the grind every day, you can't define your life and your career on that, or else it's going to be short-lived. And luckily I realized that there's got to be more to why you're doing what you do every day than just the outcome of winning a national championship. And I know people love to write about that and talk about it as much as I do, but on the other hand, there's a lot of things that go in between that culminate to those moments. And I think many a times I've been a coach that have kind of blown through the small moments. I haven't really sat down and appreciated the victories. I've agonized over the defeats, believe me. I always tell people when I get beat, it feels like I got a wad of gum on my shoe and it's about 115 degrees outside and I can't get it off my shoe. And I think any good coach is in the game because they like to compete. And so losing hurts, winning is great, but on the other hand, you got to look at the big picture. And my job here really is to get these young people ready for life after softball. They're not going to make $1 million playing the game. So my scope is much greater than the game itself. And, today I got a chance to sit down and spend 50 minutes with Jenny Dalton. And Jenny was one of our greatest players ever play this game, but I'm more proud of who she is and what she represents. And I think softball was a platform for that. So to answer your question in a roundabout way, yeah, I still have fire in my belly, and I'll make decisions whenever I want to make them. And I may wake up tomorrow and say, that's enough. I know the game has changed, and there's a lot of things I love about the game. I love the game itself, but there's a lot of things outside the game that I really don't care to be involved with, and one is social media, to be honest with you. I think it's going to ruin our world. And I'll give you a good example since you asked the question. But, when I first came here in 1985, and I got a chance to work with some very fine journalists, I think, and I'll put Greg Hansen in that category, but Corky Simpson and Jack Rickard and some of the names you guys, I don't know if you even remember those names, but those guys followed us when we were nothing. And we were just trying to climb the mountain. And Steve Rivera, see him right there, And the nice thing about that back then is they were always telling the story. they're always looking for the good things and telling the story about the kids going through the grind and trying to be successful. And just today, I feel like I answer more questions about the drama. You know, people are looking for the reason why you can't do this, why you can't do that. And that's not the way I think. And truthfully, like the question about 2000, whenever it was, we lost the regional, which, goddamn, if you're going to coach, you're going to lose some games. But I don't sit around and think about it because it's 2021. 47 years later, I just damn lucky that I'm able to do what I do. And if I can make an impact in a young kid's life, that's what's important to me. And if a national championship comes our way, believe me, that's what we want. That's what we work for. But you can't live your life based upon that all the time. And I hope that, it's just too easy for people to drop a note about a kid that knows nothing about the kid and just rip their ass about a performance. And that just drives me crazy. And I would love that person to just come look at me face to face. And if they're so damn good, why aren't they coaching? And if they're so damn good, let them get in the damn batter's box and try to hit. But it's the pot shots I hate. I think they're cheap. I'm used to people talking face to face. And if you got an issue with me, then come see me. Don't write it somewhere where you don't have to even be known who you are. And I understand it. I understand the good part of it, but I'm really getting kind of tired of the bad part of it. And for an 18, 19-year-old kid to have to justify from some idiot that doesn't even probably know them to write stuff that is absolutely ridiculous, that's not why I'm going to do what I'm going to do, And you want to take pot shots on me? Great. Come into my office, pick up a phone, call me. Because I promise you, I love talking the game. And if you've got great insight, I'd love to hear it. But on the other hand, we're out here, Monday through Sunday. So some of the decisions we make are not based upon things you read about. It's based upon what you see every day. And so you have to make tough decisions. And I don't mind justifying them, but I really like to justify them again with people that truly understand the game and appreciate the game. And that's allowing me to get on my soapbox today. But anyway, I appreciate what you guys do. These young ladies are pretty special to me. I didn't drive to Phoenix yesterday for 2 hours to watch one of my kids get married because she was a great player. She was a good player, but she's a great person. And part of coaching is being a part of their life, not just for 4 years, but forever. And so those are the stories I like.
And that's going to be all the time we have for. We got to get Coach out to practice. So thank you guys for joining us today. And
bear down.
I'll be in contact about Fayetteville. See you guys.